People in Sagebrush Valley say that some stories begin with thunder and others with silence. But this one began with a whisper, soft, hurting, and meant for no one to hear. "I don't deserve love." The words came from a widow sitting alone on the edge of an abandoned ranch porch, her hands trembling in the cold. And the man who heard them, the cowboy standing a few feet away, seemed carved from the land itself, tall, steady, and carrying the quiet strength of someone who had already survived too many storms. He stepped closer, the wind carrying his reply like a vow, "Then you deserve me." Elara Hayes never imagined she would return to Sagebrush Valley. The town held too many memories, some tender, some unbearable. 2 years earlier, she had come here as a young bride, full of hope, ready to build a life with the man she loved. But life had its own cruel timing. A winter accident on the mountain trails took her husband from her, along with the future she had imagined. She moved away, took odd jobs, drifted from town to town, and tried to outrun the grief that followed her like a shadow. But shadows always kept pace. When her last job ended without warning and her savings ran out, she had no choice but to return to the old, half-broken ranch her husband had left behind. It was all she had left, just walls, dust, and 1,000 memories she wasn't ready to face. The townspeople whispered when she came back. Some with pity. Some with quiet judgment. And she felt each stare like a weight pressing on her chest. She didn't want help. Didn't want sympathy. Didn't want to rely on anyone ever again. Because needing people meant losing them. And she was done losing. But one man didn't whisper. He didn't stare. He didn't pity. He just watched from a distance, like someone who knew grief personally. His name was Wes Callahan, a rancher known for raising the best horses in the state and for silently carrying a heartbreak of his own. Years ago, he had loved a woman who walked away without a reason. Since then, he poured everything into work and land, telling himself love wasn't meant for him either. Until the day he saw Elara sitting on the broken porch steps, her face streaked with tears, whispering to herself that she didn't deserve love. He didn't plan to speak. Didn't plan to get involved. But grief recognizes grief. And something in her voice cracked something inside him. "You deserve me," he said. Not because he thought she needed saving, but because he saw her drowning the same way he once had, and no decent man watched someone drown when he had a rope in his hand. Elara stared at him in shock. Wes expected her to tell him to leave. But instead, she whispered, "Why would you say that?" And just like that, their story began, awkward, hesitant, tender, and unexpectedly warm. Wes didn't offer charity. He offered partnership. The old ranch needed repairs, and he needed extra hands with the spring horses. Instead of pitying her, he treated her like someone capable, someone who still had strength left, even if she didn't believe it. At first, she resisted. She didn't want to owe anyone anything. But Wes had a stubbornness forged by years of ranch work. He kept showing up. A plank fixed on her porch. A bag of feed at her door. A stack of firewood for the cold nights. He never asked for a thank you. Never hinted at anything more. He simply stood beside her in the quiet, helping her rebuild life piece by piece. Slowly, her world softened again. She learned how to saddle the younger horses with him. She learned how to mend fences, how to plant early spring crops, how to laugh again, really laugh, without guilt pressing on her ribs. She hadn't realized how much she missed laughter until Wes made some dry, sarcastic comment that forced a smile out of her. He froze, stunned. She froze, embarrassed. But that smile lingered for hours afterward. Of course, no healing happens without storms. And there came one scorching afternoon when an unexpected buyer arrived with papers in hand, offering to purchase her ranch. A wealthy developer who wanted the land for a luxury lodge. The offer was big, life-changing, even. Enough money for her to escape Sagebrush Valley forever. Enough to start over somewhere no one knew her story. Her heart pulled in two directions. One part wanted to run again. Running meant safety. Running meant no attachment. Running meant no risk of losing someone else. But the other part, quieter, deeper, braver, wanted to stay. When Wes heard about the offer, he didn't tell her to refuse it. He didn't tell her she belonged here or belonged with him. He simply asked, "What do you want, Elara?" Not what fear wants. Not what grief wants. You. She didn't know the answer. Not yet. That night, she sat on the porch where everything had begun. The moonlight washed over the broken boards, the repaired ones, the new ones Wes had added over the weeks. Her husband's memory still lived there, but so did her future. And maybe her heart had room for both. As she sat there, her chest ached, not with grief, but with realization. Running had kept her alive. Staying might let her live. When she found Wes at dawn in his barn, brushing down a restless mare, her hands shook from nerves. "I'm not selling," she whispered. "But I'm scared." Wes didn't move, didn't speak for a moment. Then he wiped his hands on his jeans, stepped closer, and met her eyes with quiet certainty. "Being scared isn't weakness," he said. "It means something matters." Then, with that same steady calm that had saved her the first day, he added, "And you never deserved the pain life gave you. But love? You deserve all of it." For the first time in years, Elara didn't look away. "Even you?" she whispered. He smiled, a slow, soft smile that melted every wall she had ever built. "Especially me." Their first embrace wasn't rushed, wasn't dramatic. It was gentle, warm, comforting, two broken hearts finding a home inside each other. And just like that, the valley that once echoed with silence now held a new beginning. Together, they rebuilt the ranch. Together, they made it profitable again. Together, they opened its gates to lost animals and lost people, anyone needing a safe place to land. And the townspeople watched as the widow who once whispered that she didn't deserve love found the cowboy who knew she deserved more than she ever believed. If you're still watching this story, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us of something we all need to hear. Healing isn't about forgetting the past, it's about believing you're worthy of a future. And like Elara learned, sometimes the love you think you don't deserve is exactly the love that was meant for you all along. If you want, I can also create title, description, keywords, hashtags, or image prompts for this story.